Hi dojo friends. While we're on a tour of the dojo, we get a lot of questions on what that thing is up there. What is that shelf and what does it mean and its significance in the martial arts? Let's do a quick tour of the Kamidana. I first saw one of these shelves when I entered my first Japanese karate dojo at age 11. And then when I joined, I started to understand more about what these mean. These are symbols, all of these. This is called Kamidana, or spirit shelf. It is a central focal point of a dojo, although you do not need one in your dojo. It's just like we have mantles on our fireplaces. These shelves hold special items that represent different things in life. They also serve to remind us of our connection with the past martial artists and their own lineages and families. Do you have a mantle at home or a special shelf where you put your important keepsakes? Comment below and let me know your setup. I'd love to read about it. Now, if you're going to make one of these, usually the shelf is up high. I'm going to use this Boken sword here to just point some things out. The shelf is usually very high so that you have to look up to see it. It typically faces either south or east. In this particular case, ours happens to face the south. Traditionally, they were opposite of the front door. Our dojo is set up where this is not opposite the front door. This is on the north wall facing south. And the shelf is usually put where people will not walk below it a lot. Under the Kamidana is called Kamiza. This is where the sensei, or the special guest, sits and observes class. It is a place of responsibility and honor in a dojo. So what is this house structure up here? This is an old called Miyagata. Miyagata is a small shrine or an old representation of a dojo. Inside are the spirits, if you believe in such things, of the past teachers and students. Typically we leave the doors open there, so we allow the spirits freedom, and I like to think that they are watching us train and smiling because we're all trying to keep martial arts alive and well. You'll see here on the left and the right inside are called ofuda. Ofuda are paper good luck tablets from Japan, and these are various gifts from shrines that I was given by temple priests when I was in Japan. These traditionally are replaced every year, but as you can see, those have been there quite a while. I do not replace them every year. Also inside the Miyagata can be something called engimono. Engimono are kind of good luck things. So I have some omamori inside there, which are kind of gift charms from students, and also ones that I've picked up at various shrines in Japan are inside that shrine in that kind of powerful little wooden house there. And I have a couple of intention sticks inside that house from students of mine, sadly, who have passed away over the years. I keep these sticks in memory of them because it reminds us of their contributions to our dojo and how special they were in our lives. These might be hard to see. You can see there are little kind of vessels and pots sitting in front, and sometimes they're on a shelf. These are called shingu. And shingu, in the old days, these were different vessels and dishes, and they would be filled with kind of offerings such as water, salt, rice. You could put fresh flowers or even sake, but we don't do that here. And typically these vessels would be changed out, sometimes daily, weekly, monthly. These at our dojos, to keep it simple, are all just empty, but they represent giving offerings to those of the past. You'll see this round mirror. This is a mirror, and that represents, in my opinion, our ideal on working on ourselves to have a stainless and a bright heart and mind. Think of the light of Amaterasu. The mirror cannot lie, so when we look into it, it tells us who we really are. We work out our imperfections with our training until all that is left is the original beauty that is in us. So the mirror represents a stainless heart, perfection. Even though we never reach it, we try to be as bright as a mirror. On either side, you'll see these branches here. These are not real. These are artificial, again, to keep it simple. These are called sakaki, which are evergreen branches, and those are to represent one's connection to nature and all of its power in keeping us grounded and calm. On some Kamidana, we have what's called a torii gate. This is a structure you've seen probably in a lot of pictures of Japan. That's just kind of a place where you walk underneath it. This is a small one. I've had some that are large, and that's a separate piece of wood in front. That just represents a place of reverence. And sometimes you'll see like ropes called shimenawa, which are hanging from the gate. All of these things are symbols for things that we're trying to attain in our life, and they're reminders of the past. The last three kanji in the bottom part of this framed art are komyo, which is like a bright light, and that represents here these candles. These candles up there just represent the brightness of the world, and that things can remain positive, especially when you train, and that when things are darkest, try to look toward the light for hope. Just like you might have a special alcove at home or a mantle above your fireplace or a special place, you can put pictures up there, you can put all kinds of important knickknacks and things that are important that might have been inherited from your grandparents or parents. And around this, sometimes you can put pictures of your teachers. So these are some of my sensei, living and dead. And over here is another meaningful picture. Generally, you want to keep the area underneath free and clear unless it's a piece of nice art or something, but you wouldn't want to put like flags or anything kind of gaudy underneath this shelf. So in these traditional battlefield kind of koryu, old-style martial arts, not as much in Gendai, not as much in sport martial arts. You're not going to see something like this in a kind of modern gym-type dojo. But this represents, again, tradition, history. It is not religious in nature at all because everyone in here is from different cultures, different backgrounds. There's 25 different religions of people that train. We don't mention that here. This is a secular dojo. We come here to train. So I, as the current steward, have one of these to remind us of the importance of our martial art history. I put up photos of my past sensei as a reminder to keep the path and to be the current person that helps promote what they brought to the world to the next generations. We are always standing on the shoulders of giants. Never forget that. Don't ever forget who teaches you things so that one day you might have your photo underneath the others as a steward if you stick with your martial tradition. Again, having one of these kamidana up here are not necessary in any type of dojo. You don't have to stick to the guidelines. If you can't put this on the proper wall or you can't put it at the proper height, as long as your intention is good at trying to remind yourself of the past and being grateful for your teachers, that's the whole point of that thing. When saluting on and off the mat, and when I come in the dojo in the morning and when I leave late at night, I always salute the kamidana, the shelf of our ancestors. And I'm also saluting my own lineages, my grandparents, my parents, people who have died, and I'm forever grateful for all the things that our past has taught us. If there's one thing I can say about the kamidana is it reminds me, it keeps me focused, it keeps me grateful of all the traditions, all the lineages of martial arts. It doesn't matter the style or the country or the culture. These people went to war and died to bring us peace today in the world. Seeing a shelf like that full of symbolism is a wonderful reminder to keep us on the path, which is called Do. Do means the way. The way is what you make of it. The way is neutral. So these help keep us positive by learning the wisdom of our ancestors. We try to live as best we can with a moral and honorable ethics system in our life. Although we study the ways of violence and war, we try never to wage it. And we pass down what little knowledge and experience that we can acquire in just a couple of years on earth, and we give it to our children to continue on humanity. I barely scratched the surface on the significance of this wonderful symbol kamidana.